Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Jackson Gage Collective, the world's most intriguing podcast. My name is Jackson Gage, and this is my podcast. We got a very interesting episode today with a very good friend of mine out in Hawaii by the name of Stephan Bell, AKA Soul Brother Rhythm, AKA Magnificent Myriam Webster, AKA Ruben Love, AKA Marvelous Marvin Maui, and the AKAs go on and on and on for this dude. Very interesting guy. Before I get into that, I just want to tell you to make sure that you subscribe to this channel, whether it's on Spotify, where you can give us a follow and a rating, give us a rating and review on iTunes, or if it's on YouTube, you can go ahead and follow and, get notifications for when we put up new videos. Hit that bell icon, and I would appreciate it. Like the video, and, everything you need to do. You already know the motions. Go ahead and do all of them. Do all of them. I'd appreciate it. My episode today is an interesting one. Like I said, Soul Brother Rhythm is on the show. Stephan Bell, Magnificent, Marvelous, Marvin Maui, Myriam Webster, a.k.a. Ruben Love. And it's an interesting episode in the fact that we talk about some deep-ass shit. I've been friends with this guy for quite a while. I met him on Kauai, I think, 6 years ago, maybe 6 years ago on Kauai in a little Mexican restaurant on a remote island watching UFC. And we ran into each other, and we became friends ever since. Good friends, brothers now. And, we're both on the path of the higher man, as we like to describe it. And it's what all of our conversations are usually based on, right? Personal growth. And, he's another person who, these are the things I talk about with him on a daily basis. Why not share it with somebody else? Share it with you guys so you can join into our conversation. And, hopefully you can get something out of it. This was our first episode using this software that I have for this podcast streaming, and he's all the way in Maui, and I'm here in San Diego, and we had a few technical difficulties. The thing broke up a few times. We had to figure out how to make it work. His computer died. I ended up getting sick at the end, so we couldn't really finish it, and I was out of it for like the last 20 minutes, but we still got some good conversation in, and we're going to bring you more episodes like this. So be patient with the breakups in the middle there. I tried to cut them up as best as I could, and hopefully you get hopefully you enjoy hanging out with us and get some value from what we're talking about. If not, at least, just come and hang out with us on the episodes. Come and hang out with us at the Jackson Gage Collective, and hit me up if you need anything at The Increased Life on Instagram, or you can go on Spotify and leave a 1-minute message, and I can play it on the show. Maybe you leave a question and I'll answer it on the show. I would appreciate that. So enjoy the episode, and let me welcome Mr. Stephan Bell, aka Magnificent Myriam Webster, aka Ruben Love, aka Marvelous Marvin Maui. He is in the house. Welcome, Stephan Bell. I love you, bro. What's up? All right, here we go, man. Stephan Bell.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? The AKA.
If we do the AKAs, that'll be half the episode, man.
Keep going for a while. We'll just throw one of them in there. One of my lately, this one's my favorite, man. AKA Stephan Bell, AKA Marvelous.
Yeah.
Myriam Webster. Marvelous Myriam Webster. That's a good one, man. I like that one. We also got AKA Ruben Love.
Ruben Love. We could put Marvelous in front of anything. Marvelous Ruben Love. Marvelous. Yeah.
Marvelous
Webster.
Myriam Webster.
Yeah.
So what's going on, man? How you doing?
Shoot, brother. I'm doing great, man. This is a long time coming, man. I'm excited,
Yeah, man. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
I probably have mentioned this in the intro, but we've been using Marco Polo for quite a while, man, because we met in Kauai.
Mm-hmm.
What is, I don't even know, was that 6 years ago, maybe? 5 years?
That was probably 2018.
It had to be, well, I left at the end of 17. And
wow.
So it must have been the end of 16 or the beginning of 17.
Yeah,
so 5 years at least.
Yeah,
man. We met on a freaking, one of the most remote islands in the world, watching a UFC fight in a Mexican restaurant at the bar, and neither one of us were drinking. Remember that shit?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I came in there with a Friedrich Nietzsche book, sitting down at a Mexican bar, and then you right there next to me. And we started talking about, the fights, then started talking about philosophy. And then the next thing you know, we're doing hot yoga together and drinking coconut water in jacuzzis.
No homo. Hey,
No homo. No homo.
yeah, man, for real though. That's the path, man. You know, and I'm just kidding saying no homo, but it's funny if you even in this society, if you say that, yeah, man, we met in a bar and then we ended up doing hot yoga and drinking coconut water together and shit. You know,
yeah,
and
man,
sneaking into resorts, sitting in hot tubs and shit. In this society, for man to say that, you know, people take that weird and shit. You know,
you were my kawaii sneaky link.
Come on, man. Shit.
But real talk though, man, you know, that's why I feel like our friendship's been so strong for so long, because it's been real, it's been vulnerable. You know, there's no ego, right? We're not trying to measure our dicks and impose our masculinity on one another. We just receive each other as we are, you know, and that's what has made this, you know, relationship that we have as strong as it is, you know, and I think it's something that a lot of men can benefit from when you can, you know, because when we were talking about what led to hot yoga is, I believe, you know, we were talking about, you know, being on the path of the higher man. We didn't have the words for that yet, but we were talking about that in theory. And you were like, hey, have you ever tried hot yoga? I was like, no. And you were saying it's something that'll open you up. It'll give you access to yourself. So I was like, dope, let's do it. So then we jump in there, we do the class. And after you do it, anyone who's done hot yoga, you know, you sweat profusely, you know, and,
yeah.
You know, immediately after, the best thing to do is to hydrate. So we had the coconut water ready. Somebody also had fruit out on like a bench out there too, right? So I think we snagged some fruit, the coconut water. We rehydrated, jumped in the jacuzzi, and then we're talking about, you know, manifesting. We're talking about dreams and ambitions, because, you know, we've released all the tension out of our body. Now you're just loose and you're free and you're fluid. So mentally you're fluid. So, you know, I know we were joking in the beginning, making it sound like, you know, homoerotic, but it was some real shit. And I'll touch on this too. You know, we were exchanging polos earlier, and you were talking about jumping in the sauna, sweating, intense cardio, and what that does for you. And hot yoga, for me, does the same thing. You know, it's mentally challenging. It makes you think. It you know, there's moments when you might feel like you're going to break and you have to sit, but you persevere. It's a powerful tool. But no, man, it's been a beautiful friendship for these past 5 years, man.
Yeah, most definitely. It's two things I'll touch on: the yoga and when he says polo, there's an app. If you don't have the app, you should check it out. It's a good way to communicate. It helps you get comfortable on video. It helps you speak on video. It helps you become a better communicator because you're recording videos of yourself constantly through these conversations. And it's a video app, and you send videos back and forth. And we've been back and forth on that daily for years, man. You know, every day we talk on that motherfucker, just about. There might be a couple days here and there where one of us is, you know, kind of out of our vibe a little bit, and we kind of, you know, you kind of got to retreat into your cave for a few days sometimes. But we talk every day, and I was just telling William that it's important, especially for men, because girls all have all their girlfriends and this and that, you know, but men.
Please recharge in time.
Oh,
what's that?
That's my speaker. That's my speaker.
Are you good?
let me turn that off because it's dying.
Okay, yeah, turn it off.
That's
and we'll
all right.
just cut this. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, turn it off, and we'll just cut this piece out.
All right, check.
Yep. Good.
All right. Shoot, Joe Rogan's guests, they get up and go to the bathroom sometimes. You know, it's all good.
They do, man. You know what I need to get? You can have on this Riverside. You can have a producer, someone that sits in, but only they can't be heard on the podcast, but they can hear you, and you can communicate with them, so they can like look stuff up or whatever. I need to find somebody who's down to do that. I think I have somebody in mind.
Get you a young Jamie. Go look that up, Jamie.
Exactly. That would be dope. You know. I can't see you though. Where you at, bro? There we go. No.
Boom.
Okay. Okay. So anyhow, is your video view still good? Your head's not cut off or nothing?
I'm
okay.
Solid.
Right on. Okay. So what I was saying was, as far as the Marco Polo, what I was telling William the other day, who's another guy that I was an ex-cop with, and I host another podcast with him called Soul Rollers. He's a life coach, and me and him talk every day on Marco Polo too. Same thing, deep introspective conversations about our personal growth and that type of thing. And I was telling him, for us, sometimes as a man, you know, you might come from a family that's not a huge family where you're all always getting together and spending time together, and you don't have people within your family where you can talk on a man-to-man level with. And for men, if you don't have that, sometimes it can be a lonely place. And I know there's a lot of men out there who don't have people to talk to, but so that's why, for one reason why I have this podcast, you can sit and talk with us. But you know, you kind of create your own tribe and you create your own family with the brothers, you know, a band of brothers type of deal. And we've been able to do that with Marco Polo, man. It's been huge. Because if you don't have that, how often you're really going to talk? You might text, call each other sometimes, but we face to face every day, even though you're in Maui and I'm in San Diego. So thank you, Marco Polo. And the other thing I was going to say was the hot yoga. You go in a hot yoga class, it's probably, 2-3% males in there? Probably 1 out of 20 is males. In Hawaii, it might be a little bit higher, a lot less ego out there, you know, but it's
still predominantly women.
And I think that's an ego thing too. A lot of men, I'm not going to do yoga, that's for girls. Or a lot of times you hear, I can't do yoga, it's so boring. But the whole point, especially hot yoga, you go in there for an hour and a half, and you push yourself to the limits mentally and physically for an hour and a half. And when you come out, anything that you thought was shitty in your life is pretty much, you're not worried about it anymore. You know, you feel good after that, and you've gotten rid of all your tension. And yeah, man, I highly recommend hot yoga for the men out there listening, and the women. You know, if you're not doing yoga or hot yoga or anything with yourself, go out there and try it, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, I'll piggyback a little bit with the ego. You know that I was a fitness coach, like full time, for a little while. And for those listening, I was I coached for Orange Theory and F45. And, those are just classes, and predominantly women. And I think men, when it comes to being led by somebody else, that's where ego comes into play. A lot of men like to just go in the gym and just lift on their own without guidance. And then being in a setting around people, being paced, you know, it's something that men are less inclined to be a part of. But what I notice with women, it's a lot less about them being guided, and it's more about camaraderie. You know, they go into these classes to be held accountable by everybody else, right? You go in there and you see the person next to you pushing, it makes you want to push. And women feed off that. And it's something that us as men, we could benefit from that a lot more in our everyday lives. Men find that in team sports, right? Men find that in team sports. Men find that in serving, joining, as you know, from being a police officer and when I was serving in the military, like men do that in those ways. But do we do that just in the natural setting, in the civilian side? We don't. And that comes right back around to the beauty of having your brotherhood, using this Marco Polo where you build your tribe, where what we're centering around is personal growth, that's what the tribe is revolving around. That's why we come together in our huddles our huddles are personal growth huddles, you know, and it's powerful. It's powerful. Something that I really, yeah, man, you know, really appreciate it. Like you said, with the polos, you know, with the Marco Polo app, you know, you record a video and, you know, it's uninterrupted. It's just you. What is it? Like a stream of conscious, right? It's an uninterrupted, like, stream of conscious. You just, you know, express and expand upon any idea as much as you want. And then what's dope is when you press play and you listen, it really forces you to listen. There's no interrupting. It's just you listening and absorbing it all, you know? And, you know, it really encourages you to, you know, really listen to your fellow brothers, really listen. And then when you record a video back in response, you know, it really encourages you to remember everything that person said, because you want to touch on all the points. It's a beautiful app. Anyway, just wanted to piggyback on what you were saying.
We should make I'm gonna cut up this whole thing and tag Marco Polo in it. Maybe they'll sponsor the podcast and shit. You know, we use the fuck out of it. You know, so
yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I had a thought there about that, but I'll get off of Marco Polo. But, you know, I did have a thought about Marco Polo, and I'll just throw this out there, and then we'll get more into your story here. But I was thinking, like, starting something with, once I grow this listenership, starting something with, like, a Patreon or whatever, where if you pay the Patreon, then you get a certain number of Marco Polos. You know, you can hit me up on Polo and ask me something, and we can talk. You know what I mean? I think that would be dope. We eventually get to that. Dope. So I don't think anybody's done something like that yet. So, but anyhow, so I know you got a lot, we got a lot to get into, man. Me and you, obviously we can sit here and talk about a million different things. So, and you'll be on here. Stefan's going to be a regular on this show for sure. So if we don't cover something or you have any questions, there's something on Spotify that's pretty cool. If you're listening to podcasts, you can go to if you're going to the episode, right under it, there's a little link that says, if you want to ask a question, you hit the link and it allows you to record a 1-minute question. And then we can play that on another episode and answer it. So if anybody wants to do that, that would be dope. And, but yeah, man. Yeah. So let's get into, what do you want to get into? I kind of want to get into your new venture into a relationship here. You know what I mean? Because, we've both been single for a long time, and that's kind of by choice, you know, as you get more into personal growth as a man, you don't just jump on everything you see. You don't jump on the first woman who gives you some attention. You don't get the first girlfriend that, you know, bats her eyes at you. You understand that you're high value, you know, that as a king, if you see yourself as a king, you're going to wait for a queen, you know? And, right. So that's one thing we got to work on, is seeing ourselves in a higher regard as men, as high value items. Cause what does society look at men as? You know, like we look at women as the prize, but in my eyes, you know, we're the prize. And if you're the prize, then you know what I mean? So we take our time and we allow things to manifest, and we just work on ourselves. And that happened for you recently. And you, you know, you met somebody who, man, it seems like you're vibing with her, man. It seems like everything's going good with that, you know? Yeah. How do you think that, in the first place, how do you think that kind of manifested for you, man? Because there's a lot of dudes out there who are single guys or waiting for their, you know, looking for the right one or whatever. And I know you kind of manifested this, because we've talked about it over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, we have.
Can you put the mic, can you get a little bit closer to it, or put it, there you go. And yeah, that's good.
There we go. Yeah, no, we have talked about that. And when it comes to, you know, manifesting this, So yeah, when it comes to manifesting it, you know, I took, after my last relationship, I took a year. It was a little bit longer than a year. And just gave myself time to really understand what I'm looking for in this chapter of my life, you know, really reflect on the wins and the losses from all my previous relationships, you know, what what made my previous relationship strong, what made them weak, where was I strong, where was I weak, all those things. Thought about that for a while. And and I think everyone will probably, if they were to sit and meditate on what is companionship to them, what kind of partnership is ideal for them, they're going to come up with their own conclusion. And mine, a big part of that companionship is someone that I would like to have as a friend, and someone that I could have as a friend, a confidant, and in a big part too was someone that I could enjoy life with, go on little adventures. So I live in Maui. I moved back to Hawaii. This is my 4th time living out in Hawaii. And I moved back because I, want to have a relationship with nature. And I wanted a partner that would like to go hiking with me, that would like to go explore waterfalls and go scuba diving, like that kind of companionship. But it took a little while for me to realize that's the kind of engagement that I want, And then once I realized that was the kind of engagement that I wanted, I think then my mind was like, okay, that's what we're going to look for. And like, that's who started becoming more attractive as I started, moving around in my everyday. And then along came Cindy. I saw her. And a brother had to make a move. Brother had to make a move.
Hey, Cindy. Shout out Cindy.
Yeah. Shout out to Cindy Lee. Cynthia Lee.
Out on Kauai.
Yeah. Yeah. Out on Kauai.
The magical island of Kauai.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful place. Special place. So, yeah, man, and what's funny is, I didn't know that was who she was when I saw her. I was just, there was something about her. I was like, there's something about her that I want to get to know. It was something about the way she stood and carried herself, and you can tell a lot about someone's posture, hunched over shoulders. That seems to give off the impression that there's something heavy on the mind or lack of confidence, somebody slouched. It kind of gives off a sense that like maybe they're tired or lazy. There's things, but when you see somebody upright, it gives a sense like there's intention in their moves and actions. They're intentional. This looks like someone that is sure of themselves. It looks like someone that knows what they want, and it makes you. I want to know what it is they want. I want to know, like, damn, this is an intentional being I'm looking at. What are they putting their energy into? I'm interested. Come to find out, she's putting her energy into those very things that I mentioned, so it worked out, or it's been working out.
Now, first off, how did you, well, I'll get into that in a second, but, you came to, because you were living, where were you living before this, before Maui? Where were you at on the East Coast?
In Virginia. Falls
Virginia,
Church.
Right? And you were like, during that time we were talking, you're like, man, I got to get out to nature, man. I got to get out to the islands again. And you made that happen. Yeah. And you got out there, you started, doing some introspective work, doing some solo trips, doing some mushroom trips.
Baby. Mushrooms.
Right? Yeah. And that's the golden teachers, man, And you were out there connecting with yourself for a while. And how much do you think that played into manifesting, attracting, and running into somebody who you vibe with? The work that you're doing on yourself out there, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's a big part of it. That's everything. That's everything. And it affects everything. It's not only does it influence and affect who I attract and who I'm attracted to, but it also influences and affects just who I am as a person, how I interact with you, how we talk. It affects everything. And I'm a big proponent of introspective work. I'm a big proponent of, self-actualization, especially in the world today, because there's so much external stimuli in media infiltrating our minds that gives us a false sense of self. And we do need to purge ourselves. We need to detox ourselves from all that external stimuli, to kind of tune into your own vibration. It's kind of like, when you're turning the dial on a radio, old school. I'm over here talking about turning the dial, I'm thinking what, like a station wagon, you in a damn station wagon.
Throwing that VHS.
Yeah. But, you're in the radio, you're driving in the car and you're turning the dial and, you get multiple stations coming in on that one channel. You don't know what that true channel is. So then you got to try to get to like that decibel, you're changing the decibels. You're changing the decimal to get down to that one station so you can hear it clear. And it's like, sometimes you gotta do that, man. You gotta get your antenna or get your station dialed in, get away from all that static, get away from all that external noise, figure out what your channel is, what your vibration is, and then, hone in on that and stay true to it. And it's a powerful thing. Now, I don't want to sit here and make it sound like I've mastered it and I figured it out. I'm still, trying to tune into my vibration and channel. But it's a forever thing. It's an ever going thing. It never stops. But I say all that to say that has played a big part. The shrooms definitely helped. I can talk about my trip in a little bit, but that played a big role, man.
Yeah, man. The just to keep going on that radio topic, the way you're talking about that is, I feel like the way that it works is that was a perfect metaphor that you used. Is that what it would be? A metaphor or I don't know what it is. I think it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
For tuning in to your own vibration, right? Or to the correct vibration, to your highest vibration. Because you're getting static, and then you finally get it to the right point, and you hit that station, and it's nice and clear. But you turn it a little to the left, and it's fucked up. A little to the right, and it's fucked up. And that's why we're always working on it, because that dial in our life is always turning to the left and right, no matter how close you get to it. But the closer you get to that correct vibration, that's when you begin to, your life matches the vibration that you're emitting within yourself, right? So then you may encounter somebody else who is tuned into their vibration, and you may never have even seen them before. They might not have looked twice at you before, but you're on that same vibration. And now all of a sudden you guys have connected. So I think a lot of that work you're doing on Maui, that introspective work, that solo work, going out on the beach at night solo and doing mushroom trips, meditation, that's the deepest meditation you can find right there, I think. And you're tuning in, and all of a sudden you run into somebody else who is also tuned into that same vibe. And that's where good relationships come from. I believe, that's how you find a good relationship, by working on yourself, and not by anything outside of yourself. Because if you're using things outside of yourself to find a woman or whatever to impress her with this and that, with money and other things, but you're not tuned into your vibration, you're just going to attract somebody who isn't tuned in as well, and it's just going to end it in disaster. So, and then one other thing you said, just so the listeners can you said self-actualization, and that comes from Abraham Maslow, and the guy who created
the hierarchy of needs. Yep.
Yeah, and he
very
talked
top.
about, self-actualization is the very top of that. And people in society he said that people who are self-actualized, all people who are self-actualized have two things in common. And self-actualization, he would say, is the most tuned in people, probably the most happy people in our society who are attracting what they want in their life. And he said the first thing that they have is that they are unattached to the outcome. So whatever they do in life, they're not doing it for an outcome. They're just living their life in the moment, and tuning into their vibration, and their life will create itself instead of working for outcomes all the time, which we're prone to do in our society. Yeah. And then the second thing he said is they're unaffected by the good and the bad opinions of other people. So self-actualized people aren't affected by the good opinions of people. Oh, you're great, you're awesome. And they're not affected by the bad opinions of people. So they can be themselves and they don't chase outcomes. And you put those two together, and that's common amongst all self-actualized people. So you had mentioned self-actualization, and that kind of popped into my head.
Yeah, so, and those two things are not easy to do or balance.
Exactly. So let me ask you this: how did you, while we're on the topic of relationships and your relationship that you have now, and that's another thing, being your self-actualization unattached to the outcome of a relationship, because what do we do most within our society out of fear and ego? We get in a relationship and we want an outcome. We want to see the end point of it. We want to have it be an eternal thing that lasts forever. And that's being attached to the outcome, and that will create that can create an unhealthy relationship, right? Because we're trying to make something work that might not in 5 years, So ideally you want to go into a relationship unattached to the outcome. It's good right now. We're happy right now. 5 years from now, it might be different. 1 month from now, it might be different, but I'm going to enjoy this moment and allow it to grow where it may, with no attachment to it. So how did you meet your girl, man? Like, what were the details of that? Because I know men listening want to know, like, well, how'd you run into her? How'd you approach her? Well, how did that go? The small details.
Yeah, I'll get into that. One thing I want to comment, though, on is, you talked about being attached to the outcome, and, being attached to the outcome, that's living in the future, right? And there's that saying, living in the past will make you depressed. Living in the future will make you anxious. Only way to be calm or at peace is to live in the present. And to be able to live in the present means you're not focused on the outcome. And it's falling in love and enjoying the journey, because that's where all the beautiful parts are. And I've heard a couple of people talk about this lately, the dash. There's a story about, you look at someone's tombstone, it'll have like their birth date and then their death date. But the story that makes that person who they are is in the dash, right? It's their birthday dash, death date. And the person who they are is not within their birthday and their death date. Who they are is within that dash. And that's where we need to live, in the dash,
Yes.
I love that. It's, yeah.
Yep.
So
it's, right before you get in, you made me think of something, man, where it's just a good reminder to always remember that whatever road you're walking, we're all on our own path, and on that path, you were born, and at the end of that path, and there is an end, is death. Death is on that path, and you don't know where death is on that path. And so many people live as if death isn't on that path, and they wait to do the things they want to do, and they wait to take action on the things they want to do, and they wait to enjoy life because they're busy working, or they're busy doing what society says they should do. And it's the most important thing you can do in your life, man, is the things you want to do while you're alive, because that path, the moment that the Grim Reaper steps onto it, you don't know when it's going to be, so why not live it right now? Do what you want to do right now, enjoy the people around you right now, be grateful right now, because this shit's going to end, and maybe it doesn't end. Maybe it's the rebirth, but whatever it is, this time on earth is going to end, so just wanted to, I like that. I love that, what you said about the dash. That was good shit.
Hey, shout out to The Rock. Shout out to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I heard him telling that story on something. But even what we're talking about right now is something that we could spend so much time talking on, because I was listening to some, it was like a video essay on Stoicism, and make sure that I can recall it properly. They were talking about how, the ugly truth with life, the ugly truths. We have to be okay with the ugly truths and the realities of life, the realities of living. And part of the realities of living, there are a lot of realities that we're not exposed to all the time. There's realities of divorce. There's realities of disease, realities of sudden loss of job, career. I mean, anything. There's so many possibilities. And when people talk about, oh, there's infinite possibilities in life, we usually look at it on the positive end of the spectrum, all the possibilities of what you can be and become. But we don't also look at all the possibilities of failure and loss. And one of the things they were talking about in this piece about Stoicism is that with every gain, there's also a loss. For one person to win, another person sometimes has to lose. For one gain, sometimes there's a loss. And when it comes to fortune, when you gain something, it came at the loss of something for somebody. And in that moment that you have this, whatever it is, the reality is you're not going to have it forever. Even if it's your prime, your health, your faculties, whatever it is, you're not going to have it forever. Just appreciate it so that when you do lose it, because you will, you can look back with appreciation and you can look back at these fond memories of what you were able to do with it rather than not doing anything with it. Like you said, some people live as if they're not going to die or even in fear of death. So they're trying to hold on to their life, hold on to their vitality. Then when they start losing it, they freak the fuck out, fucking, what's that show? Fucking Butcher or whatever. It's like there's this one show where people go on and get all this fucking surgery and shit. And it's, people trying to hold on to something, hold on to the youth, hold on to this, hold on to that, rather than just being able to age gracefully, And I admire a lot of athletes, we talk about MMA all the time and, George St. Pierre. There's a lot of fighters that have done amazing in the sports of MMA and have walked away and are stepping into a new life and they're thriving, like Daniel Cormier. We know how hard of a competitor he was. We saw his fights with John Jones where he cried at the end because he's that passionate of a competitor. But look at him now, because he gave his all, lived in the moment. He's able to look back on his career with fondness, and he's not going to be someone that's going to come back and ruin their legacy because he can't let it go, And then you have some people that do. And, with stoicism, they talk about, it's just be in the moment, be present, appreciate. And that's all you got to do. Just be in the moment and appreciate. And that brings me right back around to Cindy. So I'll touch on that. And that's how I've been approaching this relationship, as just being in the moment. And it's not focusing on, are we going to have a family one day? Are we going to get married one day? It's just, hey, so I live on Maui. She lives on Kauai. She's flying over this weekend. And it's like, hey, what do you want to do this weekend? And it's like, okay, let's go to a waterfall. After the waterfall, we'll go up to Haleakala, which is this crater on Maui. And it sits pretty high up, I think a little over 10,000 feet.
Volcano, right?
Yeah. A little over 10,000 feet. There's an observatory up there. So we're going to hit a waterfall, go up to the top of Haleakala, come back down, watch some of the fights, and then do something else. And, it's just living in the moment, just living in the moment, which is something that I'm doing a lot more. And then I'll segue into how I hollered at her. I spit some game.
Inquiry minds want to know, man.
How I hollered. So my sister and my nephew also live on Kauai. So this was July 3rd. I flew over for the 4th of July. And I'm cruising with my little nephew. Dopest little dude in the world. Shout out to Asher Hayden. Asher Hayden. Shout out to Asher
Hayden. What's up, buddy?
My nephew.
I see a lot of videos of you, buddy. Yeah. Uncle Stephan talks about you a lot, man.
Yeah, man. Love that dude. Mm-hmm. So I'm cruising with him, and we check in with his mother, my sister, Berlin Cheney. Shout out to my little sis. And we're like, hey, we're coming home. You guys want anything to eat? She's like, yeah, grab a pizza. So I'm like, all right. So we pull off to go pick up some pizza. And right next to the pizza spot is a laundromat. So I hop out the car. Me and little man are walking over to the pizza spot. And then I see this tall, bronze woman, you know, and, you know, we're in Hawaii. There's not a lot of black people or anyone who even like kind of looks black out here. So me seeing a woman that looks like a black woman, I'm like, whoa. So I see her, and, you know, she's looking good. But, you know, initially I'm like, I can't run up and holler. I got my little nephew with me. That's not a good look. You know, it's not a good look just running up there trying to spit some game. So I'm like, whatever. She looks good. And what I don't know is that she had already seen me. She also thought her brother was looking good, but she also saw my nephew, and she's like, that's probably, you know, he probably got his wife in the car. She's at home. That's a beautiful little boy. He probably has a beautiful woman. Like, let me not even make eye contact. So I don't know that's going on. So I go into the pizza shop, order pizza, and apparently she wanted some pizza too. Now, I talked to her about this. I was like, now tell me. I was like, Cindy, be honest. Did you order pizza just so, you know, you can get close to me? Were you trying to do that? Were you going in, you know, did you walk into the pizza shop, order pizza just so, you know? And she was like, no, I was going to get pizza anyways. I was like, all right. So she goes in and orders some pizza too. And then I get a better look at her, and I'm like, man, you know, she does look good. But also, it's not just that she looks good. Because you talked about this before, right? We have seen attractive women. We're not just running out trying to find the most attractive woman to bone, you know, in a stage of your life where you're looking for companionship. Or even if you're not looking for companionship, what's going to make me want to talk to somebody is there has to be something beyond just the physicality. There has to be something there. So one, it was like how she was dressed and how she was carrying herself, you know, like I said, tall, statuesque. At the time she was in a CrossFit gym. So she had this athletic gear on. She had her hair kind of pent up. So again, looks very intentional. You know, she does CrossFit, so she's fit. And she also has this like look in her eyes too. It just made me real curious. So she orders a pizza. We order our pizza. It's like a 15, 20-minute wait. So then me and Asher, we head out and we kind of kick it until it's time to pick our pizza up. So we come back to get the pizza, and then she's there. And I'm like, man, let me just figure out how I can just say something to her. And I'm like, all right, 4th of July is coming up tomorrow. My little nephew loves fireworks. I'll ask her, one, if she lives here. And if she does, that's my way of finding out she lives here or she's visiting. And then 2, if she says she is living here, I ask her, does she know of any good fireworks shows happening on the island? So I approach her. I say, hey, how's it going? She's like, oh, I'm good. I'm like, do you live here on the island? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. Because my nephew, I make sure to say that, you know, with extra emphasis on every letter, nephew. So, you know, it's not my son. He loves fireworks. You know of any fireworks shows happening out here? She was like, oh, you know, there's one that I go to by the stadium. I was like, oh, cool. And she was like, you don't want to be going tonight? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, cool. Well, you know, do you mind if I get your number? Then, you know, you can give me a little bit more information because my nephew will probably, you know, dig it. So we exchanged numbers. And then we text a little bit throughout the day. What did we text about? We texted about It was first initially just about the fireworks show, and then we started getting a little bit more personal, like, you know, where do you live? How long did you live here? And that. And then that night, I asked her, I was like, hey, would you want to catch breakfast in the morning? She was like, yeah. So we went and grabbed a cup of coffee. Then at the end of the cup of coffee, you know, I was like, hey, you want to go to the beach and just kick it for a second? She was like, yeah, I'm down. So then we cruised to the beach. We didn't get out the car. We just sat in the car right in front of the beach and just kind of vibed to some music. And we have a similar ear for music. And that was the initial meeting. And then I didn't see her again until 2 weeks later when I flew back to the island. And that was how that kicked off.
Nice. Okay. So, yeah, and it seemed like I remember when you first met her, because like I said, we talk just about every day. So I knew that you met her, and then, you know, I could see the little change in you over the next few weeks, man. And you know, yeah, I just knew. I could tell. I don't know if it's your vibe or what. I'm like, he likes his girl, man. He likes his girl. I can tell. So I was happy for you. I'm happy for you right now, man. You went. You just got back from Kauai. What, last week, 2 weeks ago, for your birthday or whatever. Went to some. Looks like you had a good time, man. Went scuba diving. Ate some mushroom chocolate. You said you went to a waterfall. So it looked like you had a good time, man. You good? Can you hear me? All right. Well, we had a little bit of technical difficulties there. We're still working out the kinks, and this is our first time recording with this software here, so we're figuring it out. And yeah, we'll get it going. But where were we? I forgot what we were talking about. I know you did mention those fights too. We're gonna have to just talk about that, even though when this comes out, it will be after the fights. But we're gonna have to go into those a little bit, because those are that's the best card I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. So, where were you at? I forgot what you were talking about, man.
Talking about I just finished up about how I met Cindy, or how I approached her, and how that flowed.
Did you guys eat mushrooms on you said you ate some mushrooms, but mushroom chocolate, but it wasn't too strong?
Yeah, it wasn't the strongest. But we did do that. We did that what was that? Last week. No. Yeah. Last weekend, the last Saturday. Yeah. Last Saturday we did that.
Oh, right on. You did that on the beach or what?
Yeah, man. We went to the beach. Rolled to the beach at around 10 p.m. And both took one chocolate each. You know, it was equivalent to probably taking like 1.5 grams of mushroom. You know, that's what it felt like, equivalent to maybe 1.5 grams to 2 grams.
Well, that's still that's still a pretty good amount, man. If it felt like that, you know, because I microdose on 1/3 of a gram usually. But that's not really for psychedelic effects. That's more for just mood enhancement type of deal.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, shit. Real quick, while it's on my mind, it's kind of a switch of topics, and we can get back into whatever you want. But, how do you see those fights going? There's a big UFC 280s coming up, and while it's on my mind, there's 3 big fights on that card.
Mm-hmm.
You got Sugar Sean and Piotr Jan.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that one?
You know, it's a pick'em fight. I feel like all 3 of them are 50-50. With Sugar and Piotr Jan, you know, we've seen what Jan can do. We've seen him against the elite. Haven't seen Sugar against the elite yet. So I think it really depends on how Sugar's skill set matches up with the elite fighters. If it matches up well, if he can adjust and, not get overwhelmed, it should be a very competitive fight. He has the reach. He has beautiful striking, but again, we haven't seen that striking against elite competition. We've seen Jan against Aldo. We've seen Jan against Sterling. We've seen Jan against Sandhagen. Didn't he just fight?
I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we've seen Jan against the elite. So if Sugar's skill set, if he can maintain composure, adapt and adjust, I think it'll be an incredible fight. Hard to see it being finished unless, Sean Sugar's legs give out.
Yeah. That's going to be a good one, man. Piotr Jan, the first time I watched him fight wasn't that long ago. It was his first fight against Sterling, and I was blown away by his boxing, man. He's a really good boxer, very accurate striker, really good footwork. He keeps that guard up. He's hard to hit, and when he throws, he's just, I don't know. I'm not a boxing expert, but he was just very accurate in that fight. He was just picking Sterling apart, but then Sugar Sean, he's a good striker too. So he's got that distance working for him, that height and that distance, and he's probably going to try to keep his distance and pick him apart. So that's going to be a good fight, man.
Incredible.
And then the next fight is going to be good too. Who do you got on that one?
Sterling
TJ and
TJ.
Sterling. That's a hard one, man.
Kill a show.
Aljo was out because Dillashaw got in trouble for PEDs, for performance enhancing shit a while back, and so Sterling was already he was like, well, he's a cheater, and if he wins, we'll know why he wins. And I was kind of like, you don't talk like that before a fight, and TJ was like, you're already making excuses, man. And he was like, I'm going to show you what D1 wrestling looks like. So they're kind of already talking shit, so that's going to be a good one. I don't know who to pick on that one either.
Yeah, again, 50-50, man. TJ has some incredible striking, At one point in time, I felt like his was he had some of the best striking ever. I think Sterling AJ will probably have a size advantage over TJ. But, TJ's striking is so incredible. It'll be, it can go either way, man. It can go either way. Aljamain, he has really good jiu-jitsu, so that could be, if TJ tries to wrestle him and take him down, I don't know how that'll transfer if he gets on the ground with a high level jiu-jitsu guy, because he comes out of Sierra's camp, right?
Yeah.
So he's training with Sierra, so he take him down, but then he's going to throw up some crazy guard game on him.
Yeah, that's going to be a good. And they're both in like tip top shape right now. If you've seen
shredded,
they're both both shredded, man. So. No one's gonna quit in that one, so that's gonna be a good fight. And then you got Charles and Makhachev, man. And Makhachev hasn't really fought. He's destroyed everybody, but he hasn't fought any high level fighters yet. So it's hard to tell. But he's been training with Khabib his whole life, and Khabib speaks so highly of him, and is like he's gonna run through Charles. But then Charles he's on a tear, man. So. I don't know if you heard Gaethje say it, but Gaethje's a tough motherfucker, and he hits hard. And Gaethje said, he's like, I've been fighting for years. I've never been hit as hard as Charles Oliveira hit me.
Oh,
he said,
really?
When you get hit, he said, when you get hit, it rings your bell. But when Charles hit me, it was like nothing I ever felt. He was like, it was like I put my tongue on a really strong battery every time he hit me. And and that's Gaethje being honest. He's being honest, and that's a tough dude. And
that's wild because I remember
then,
them days as a kid sticking my tongue on a 9-volt battery to test it if it was
I
still,
remember that shit.
if it still had energy.
Yeah. Yep.
Somebody's hitting you hard as fuck if it feels like you're sticking your tongue on a battery.
Yeah, exactly. So those are going to be good, man. I'm going to work late on Saturday to watch those fights, man. So had to make sure we touch on those real quick.
Yeah, man.
But,
and then later on, some point in time, because there's that fight, and then there's the Adesanya card, we just jump on and just talk about the fights. That'll be dope.
Yeah, we can do one of those, yeah. Just do like a straight fight breakdown.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. We'll do that on an episode. So, you said you're going to be getting some mushrooms soon.
Yeah. But I'll shout out what I'm picked because like I'm rooting for Sugar. I'm rooting for Sugar because I love his whole style. I want to see how far he can go. So, Pure Tion's been at the top already. He had the title already, so it's like, he's done that. I want to see if Sean can make it. So I'm rooting for Sugar on the first fight. Rooting for Sterling for that fight. Because, again, TJ, he's already kind of had his legacy. And I'm like, let's see where AJ can take it. So I want to see how far he can go. And then, of course, man, the champion has a name, The champion has a name, so you know who I'm rocking with on that.
Exactly. That's, I'll throw out my picks, man. So I'm just going for Sugar Sean on the first fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to call that one because Piotr's a tough motherfucker, former champion. He's hot. Sugar's stepping up in competition by a long shot, and he hasn't fought anybody at that level yet. But Sugar Sean is super confident, and he talks like he's going to beat him. And I think if he implements the correct game plan, being so much longer than Piotr, if he can keep it on the feet and pick him apart from distance like he does, I think he can win it. But he's doing so good at building his brand, I watch he has a couple podcasts. I check his podcasts out online. He's an interesting dude. He's doing well with that, selling himself, and I'm sold. I like the guy. So I'll go with, and he's a smart dude too, man. He was on Rogan, and he's really into introspection and personal growth as well. So I'm definitely going for Sugar Sean. And then I'll go with, I'm not the hugest fan of either one of those guys, but the second fight. But my pick as a fight fan is TJ. I think TJ's gonna win that fight. Just because like you said, his boxing, his striking is really good, and then he's a D1 wrestler. So I'm gonna go with him on that one. And then Charles, I gotta go with Oliveira. I like that guy too much, man. I love that shit. I was watching a documentary on him the other day, and Du Bronx means like from the ghetto. That's basically what that means. And I love the fact that, because they were translating it, and he gets up there on the mic, and if you say it in English, he's like, this division has a champion, and the champion has a name, and it's Charles from the ghetto. And I'm like, fuck, that's so, he's just fucking representing all the way from the
favelas.
From the favela in Brazil, and he's up here on the world stage, and he's saying his name, and he's saying, I'm from the ghetto, and I'm Charles, and I'm the champion. And you got to love that dude, man.
100%.
Yeah, man. So those are the picks, man.
There we go.
Yeah, man.
Let's see how that TJ and AJ fight goes.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good fight, man. That can go either way.
All of them
either way.
All of them all.
Yeah, they're all gonna be good. Can't wait. Can't freaking wait, man. So,
but yeah, man. Tomorrow I'm gonna pick up 5 grams of mushrooms. The mushroom that I've been digging, I haven't had a lot. I've had the Golden Teachers. There was another one, but the one I've been digging is one called Blue Magnolia, and there's a guy here on Maui. That's what he does. He grows them. I think because I've had some, there's like dirt weed, right? There's like dirt weed. I feel like there's like dirt mushrooms too. And
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I've had those before, and it's not the cleanest experience, This guy, he, I believe he cultivates them in a way where, these are very healthy mushrooms. And the ones that I get from him, it's just a very clean, beautiful experience. So I'm going to pick up 5 grams tomorrow, and take some this weekend when I go up to the waterfall and go up to Haleakala. It should make for a real, again, a beautiful, amazing time.
What do you think? How much you think you'll take on that walk?
Man, I'm debating. It might be half a gram. Maybe in the morning, wake up, take half a gram, kind of let it set in, and then and then go take a dip and purify myself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. Isn't that what they say, the Dave Chappelle Prince? But yeah, man, take a little bit, and then man, go up there and get into those cold mountain spring waters, man. It's amazing. So yeah, probably half a gram will probably what I do.
Bro, that was on Kauai. There was did we? I don't think we went, but Ho'opi'i Falls. Did you walk to that one?
Yeah.
Did you walk in through that neighborhood up there in Kapahi?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ho'opi'i was like, that was my spot, man, because it's for those of you that haven't been to Hawaii or Kauai especially, which is very rural, there's just trails everywhere, and it's very it's unsanctioned, I guess you would say. Like, there's not, like, you go to the bigger island, like maybe Oahu, and you have railings around hikes and, don't go here because this could happen, don't park here. But Kauai is just like this, like the Wild West, you can just do whatever the fuck you want. It's just a jungle island, and you're free to go wherever you want. It's one of the last places, at least in America, like that, and who knows how long it'll be like that, but hopefully for a long time. I mean, that's what makes it so magical, because you're more free there. Mm-hmm. And there's this one hike up in this neighborhood. It's right between these houses, and you just start hiking out, and the weather there is pretty hot. So it's humid, it's hot most of the time, and sometimes it's hot as a motherfucker, And
it can be,
it can be so hot there. And man, I used to go to this hike, Ho'opi'i Falls, and I would just go by myself in the morning when there was nobody walking it, and I would go walk out there, and it's probably about a 10 or 15 minute hike through the jungle, and you're walking along this river, and it's there, you got the canopy of the jungle there, so it's shaded, but you're still hot, and there's fucking mosquitoes and shit. But by the time you get there, you get to this, there's a waterfall, and there's like a lake and then there's a little pool by the waterfall. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, man, nobody around, and you just got a lake, you got jungle, and you're in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you go in these jungle pools, and it's just like ice water, man. Maybe not ice, but it's cold water, and it's just cold. Amazing. I would just, you just go in there, and you can just reset your whole mind, your body, your spirit, meditate, and you're ready for life after that. I really miss that about Kauai, that hike right there. That was my shit. That was my reconnection, man. And I kind of got to live through you now, because you get to go do that shit with mushrooms.
Vicariously through me.
Yeah, man.
I'll make sure to give you all the juicy details.
Yeah, we'll do another one of these. You can tell me what happened.
Shoot, man. We got to get you out here, man, so we can do it together.
I know. I need to get out there soon enough, man. I'm working out some things here, and then eventually I'll go out there, man, for sure.
In divine timing, all in divine timing.
Yeah, man. Let me go turn this fan on real quick. I'll cut this piece out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting so hot, I started having a heat stroke and shit, bro.
How much you passing out on me?
No, I was sitting here and fucking started sweating and shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Shit. I have to leave it on for the remainder, and then fuck it. Next time I don't know what the fuck I'll do. I got to figure it out. I didn't think this microphone would pick up the fan because it should just pick up what's closest to it. Probably shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, it's not horrible. I can hear it, but it's not like it's overpowering you.
Okay.
God motherfucking damn it. There we go. All right.
What else is new, man? What else is going on?
Shoot, man, just taking it day by day, living in the moment, that's what's going on right now, man. Always working on things though, always working on things, got a couple of, certs and trainings that I'm working on, cause definitely want to, the entrepreneurial spirit is definitely alive within me, and burning. So, looking at definitely getting into, creating a business.
Yeah, man. Stephan raps too, man. He's a hip hop artist. He's a good lyricist. So you should go if you go to his Instagram, Soul Brother Rhythm at Soul Brother Rhythm, and you can check out some of his reels and some of his lyrics. He got some conscious stuff going on, man. He's just getting his studio set up at the house as well too, man.
100.
So we'll be expecting some work, bro. Expecting some shit, some music coming from there.
No
soon,
doubt, man.
I was thinking, man, we might, if I could find a beat, a non-copywritten beat, we could think of like an intro, like a 15-second intro, just like a hook. You know what I mean? I really like the one that you did that one time, man. A cup of, what was it?
Cup of tea with some lime in it.
Lime in it. Yeah, that shit was dope, man. I like the vibe of that. It had like a jazzy beat, kind of jazzy.
Yeah.
And then the lyrics, I love that. I could see that as an intro, man. So we're gonna have to talk about that.
Hey, I got you, man. I got you. No doubt.
Definitely. So, yeah, man. Let me get some of this water.
But yeah, man. So, working on good nutrition certification, corrective exercise, performance, coupling that with everything that I have now and looking at creating a, really step into becoming a body practitioner,
Good, man.
And that's, man, empowering and healing, that's the way to go, and it's funny, like when I was, it's just funny when you listen to the little things that resonate with you. When I was in the Army, for some reason, I loved doing PT. I loved doing PT, and I loved doing PT in a group. One of the things I loved the most was when we would run and sing cadence. And I would be one of the cadence callers, right? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, hey, so
hell yeah.
Out there doing that call and response. Shit. Oh, that shit be pumping me the fuck up, man.
Oh, bro, what's funny is
what's up?
I think I told you this, man, but in the academy, I was a cadence caller, man. Yeah,
no doubt.
I was a cadence caller. Yeah. Yep.
I swear, Yo Jackson.
Left, right on, left, right, your left. Right, left, right on, left. And yeah. Hell yeah.
Yo, I swear, man, it's like, man. It's like every once in a while, man, we'll be sharing something from our life, and they'll be like, yo, that was me too. It's like, God damn it, dog. We were like cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, man. That's why we vibe, man.
Yo, like, that goes right back to what we were talking about earlier, man, about when you tune into your frequency, right, and you're true to your frequency, and that's the beauty. When you're true to your own frequency, one, you're a genuine being that other people can appreciate. And when you meet someone who can understand and tune into your frequency, that's when you feel appreciated and you feel seen, you feel valued, you feel appreciated because you are. And then when you meet someone who resonates with your frequency, it's nothing needs to be forced. Everything just flows. You know, you don't have to force a connection. You don't have to force a relationship. It just is. And, you know, a big part of that is learning to accept who we are. We have to accept ourselves. We have to value ourselves, right? Because if you don't appreciate who you are, then you're not going to acknowledge or send out your frequency strong. You're going to have a low vibration. You know, it's kind of like if you don't appreciate the music coming out of your radio station, you're going to turn that station down or turn it off. But if you value what's coming out of that station, you're going to blast that motherfucking stereo. You're going to roll the windows down and you're going to drive like 5 miles an hour down the neighborhood so everybody can see you and hear what you're bumping. And when you value who you are, that's how you kind of roll. And you don't need everybody in your whip when you're bumping your music. You just might need one or two people, one in the front seat with you and one in the back, and y'all just cruising, vibing to your station. So, you know, get that. Everything's relative. Everything's connected. Everything's relative. And I say all that just to get right back to that, man. Yeah, man. Like it's just so funny, man. There's like every time we share something, you know, it's like, you know, you were a Cadillac, black and mild, old school bumping, rapping dude. And it's like, same thing here, you know, and it's like, damn, you know, so it's funny you were Cadence calling, but yeah, man. So I was, you know, that was something that I was doing, Cadence calling when I was in the Army. And one of the things that I noticed and that resonated with me was one, the camaraderie with you know, working out together when we're doing PT, physical training. And then, you know, when you're doing cadence call, I don't know if you felt this, but I felt it. When you're in a group, you guys are all marching in sync. You know, you're doing the call and response in sync. There's like a synergistic feeling. I would get the chills sometimes. Like you feel connected to everybody, you know, because everyone's in harmony. You're literally drilling and conditioning yourselves to be one, you know, with the marching and with the cadence calling. But it was something that really resonated with me. And I noticed that people that gravitated and really appreciated and made the most out of those moments, they were growth mindset individuals. With wildland firefighting, same thing. We did physical training and we did PT. And there was the people that really made the most out of PT were growth mindset individuals, very positive. And we would have conversations and, it would just be beautiful, beautiful, transformative work. And then that's what made me want to jump into fitness and personal training. I was like, what I'm noticing in the military and in wildland fire or in firefighting is people accessing the deeper parts of themselves, becoming stronger versions of themselves, one through fitness, because you're challenging and remolding yourself. And I wanted to bring that to the civilian world. And I was so grateful to experience that. You touch a lot of people when you're a fitness trainer. You touch a lot of people. You impact a lot of people's lives. And it was wonderful, really wonderful. But then as I'm doing that, I'm realizing, the healing can go deeper. You start finding your niche. And, I'm starting to really hone in on my niche, on who are the people that I want to impact. So that's something that I'm working on now, getting these certificates and then creating a avenue for the people that I recognize in my niche to then enrich themselves and empower themselves,
Yeah, man. That's and I think a lot of the people in your niche will be, because a lot of time the people in your niche are people who are similar to you, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, this something that you bring to the table is that you allow for, especially for men, you allow for other men to be themselves, you know, without it's the same reason that we're connected, you know, because there's a lot of people that need to do the inner work, man. You know, that need to go within and get rid of those demons that are that we all have. But some people never really take that trip, man. You know, until they run into somebody who's already doing it, who's facing the fears, who's facing the demons, who's going into the cave that we fear enter, where the treasure is hidden. You know, and that's how we live our life. Yeah. And that's the hero in the story. But we're all on our own hero's journey. Everybody has a cave that they fear to enter. You know, but it holds the treasure that we seek. And you know, I'm grateful to be on this journey and to have you as, you know, as we're in this tribe together, man, you know, and as we build it, there's going to be more of us. And that's what we're here to help. For me, that's who we're here to help. We're here to help those people that we're to hit. For me, I'm here to help the men who are looking for their own truth and who want to find out who they are and want to step into the greater version of themselves and to step into that cave and to slay that dragon, you know? And, I feel like even if it's subconsciously, you're here to help those people too, man. You know, so because you're doing it, you're doing the work, and when you do the work, you reflect that into the world. You know, and so as you do the work, you become the medicine because other people see you doing it, and if you share it, then it will inspire them to do the same. You know, and we all have a group of people out there who relate only with us, and you have that group as well. You know.
And
especially as you share yourself with, especially as you share yourself with the world, you know. So, I'm actually, I'm gonna cut it here pretty quick because for some reason I got this heat stroke going on. I don't know what happened, but I started getting hot, and then I know what it was. I took one of these. Once in a while, I take these Zen. It's good for focus. It's like a little nicotine packet. But that shit made me woozy as fuck the last 15 minutes. I took it out, but it won't go away, man. So, and then it got hot, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta go sit down for a minute. So we'll continue this. We'll have more of these. So we've gone an hour and a half, and we'll do another one soon. But
no doubt.
Let's do this. You got a group. You got 1,000 of those men, and they're standing in front of you, man. And they want to hear something that you have to say. They got their ear turned to you, you know. What are you going to tell them? They're looking for something like, Stephan, what, man? How do I? I'm trying to find myself here, man. What do I do, man? What do I? How do I find that vibration? How do I start walking toward it? What are some things I can do, man?
You know, first off, I'm on that journey too, so I can only speak to how far I've come, you know. Second is just to, I think the first thing we all got to do is get in tune to our vibration and our station, you know. Listen, start learning and understanding what your song is. Start learning and understanding what your frequency is and what that's trying to tell you. And when you start hearing that, then it comes to making decisions on acting on what it's telling you, you know. And as you start acting on what it's telling you, that's when you start having these revelations and start having these moments of levity and feeling freer and truer and more grounded, you know. That's the beginning part. And some of it's easy to do. Some of it's just, you know, you've always wanted to take jujitsu. So then you enroll into your local jujitsu school, and right away you're like, I found a tribe and I feel wonderful, you know. And man, you know, sometimes that's all it takes. Other times it might be You know, it might be analyzing where you are in that moment of your life, realizing that maybe you were in autopilot, maybe you were in fight or flight, in survival mode, and you made decisions based off fear and needing to survive, and you know, you did the best you can, but you're not where you want to be, and you may need to reevaluate and start making decisions on to get yourself to where you would want to be, you know, and that's honest conversation. And that's the hard shit. That's the hard shit, because then you can't point a finger and say, oh, it's because of this. It's because of this. You got to point at yourself and be like, well, I didn't do this and I need to do this. And then you just need to do it. That's the other piece, you know? So it's doing that. And as you do it, you just find yourself just stepping into who you are more and more every day, you know, and it's doing things like this, you know, jumping on here, you know, doing things like what you're doing, creating the JGC, the Jackson Gage Collective, and, you know, creating this platform, inviting people on, having these conversations, and just starting something, you know, like Michael Jackson said, you got to be starting something, you know. Gotta be starting something. Too high to get over, too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle, you know. Yeah. Don't have a baby if you can't have a baby. Don't bang the baby. Shoot. Mama say, mama sa, mama sa. You know what? What I gotta say to all those people? Listen to Michael Jackson. Go bump some Michael Jackson and take some mushrooms.
There you go.
You can find a way.
Yeah, man.
Bump some Michael and take some mushrooms.
I agree. Go listen to some Michael Jackson, man. Yep. Fuck. Powerful dude there. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, shit, yeah, man. Thanks for doing this, man. That was a good first run, and we will have Stephan on again probably soon. And hit him up on Instagram at Soul Brother Rhythm. Give him a follow. Check out some of his hip hop. I'm thinking he's going to be putting up more now that he's got his setup going on and everything. And
yeah, you
man.
know, check out Adventures. You know, my Adventures on the Island.
Adventures in Hawaii.
Yeah, Adventures in Hawaii. And as we get further along, you know, I'll be posting about my, you know, experiences with the mushroom. As I get further along, start talking about mind-body practices, you know, so Soul Brother Rhythm well, that's what it's about, you know, that Soul Brother Rhythm. That's what that is.
There you go. Tune in with the Soul Brother Rhythm, energy, and vibe. And, yeah, we're going to keep on doing this thing, man. And AKA Ruben Love, AKA Marvelous Myriam Webster.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, so
Let's
thanks
go.
for listening. Make sure you subscribe on Spotify, follow on Spotify, leave a review. You can just go on Spotify and leave like a 5-star review. It's easy. Just hit the 5th star, hit subscribe so you get all these episodes, and we'll be putting a bunch of episodes out. There's you can either find it on YouTube if you want to watch the video. There'll also be a video episode on Spotify. And you can also go on iTunes and check it out. You can follow me at The Increased Life on Instagram. And yeah, just stay tuned and make sure you share this with somebody. And we'll keep it going. And thanks again for coming on here, Myriam Webster, Stephan Bell. And I appreciate you, man. And we'll get another one in soon. And,
Looking forward to it.
Good shit.
Looking forward to it.
Yep.
I appreciate you too, brother.
So, for sure, man. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Stephan, thanks for coming in. Love you, bro.
Yeah.
And yep, we'll talk soon. So just hang out for a second. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Peace.